Now, let's talk about chapter 2 today, all right? In the last time we talked about international business, okay? And this time, we're going to start to talk about the difference, right? Differences between countries. Right? So, the main topic of this chapter and a couple of the following chapter is very simple. Countries are different. Countries are different. The topic of this meeting is national differences in political, economic, legal systems. Politics, economics, and legal systems. Simply speaking, politics, collectivism, individualism. Economic, socialism, communism, or capitalism. Legal systems, common law versus civil law. All right? These are big differences in this topic. So we are going to talk about these three differences in this chapter. Very simple topic, okay? Very general. We talk about these issues a lot in our ordinary lives, right? Okay, so it won't take a long time, right? And corporation simulations, I just want to make sure. So the as soon as the company send your email to register and navigate it, please do so. Okay, please visit the website and please try. Okay, then if you better familiar with the simulations, your performance will be better. Okay, so I strongly recommend it. And schedule. So this is Tuesday, and next Thursday we are going to talk about one more chapter, chapter 3, and then in the next week, time is so quick. So exam 1 and presentation 1. Okay, in the next week, Tuesday, exam 1 and presentation 1. Okay, and exam will be easy, not so difficult, as long as you are prepared. Okay, this exam will be multiple choice questions. Okay? About, I guess, about 30 questions. Okay, all right. There's no practice way because we're going to take this exam in this setting, online setting. There is no practice way to provide appropriate proctor. Okay, so I'm going to give you this exam as an open book test, all right, open book. But I just emphasize this. I'm going to control the timing. Something like this test will be about 40 minutes. Okay? So even this is an open book test, if you are not prepared very well, probably you won't complete this test on time. All right. Okay. There is a timing issue with this exam, this test. So please prepare the test, okay, as you do the in-class test. Okay. The minimal things I want to recommend is twice the textbook. Okay. Read the textbook twice. Okay. 2 times. Very carefully. Then you'll be fine, I guess. And presentation 1. Oh, any question about the exam? Exam will be provided by on the canvas. Any question about the exam? All right. Then presentation 1. Okay, so next week Thursday, we are going to have presentations. Okay, so actually technology is the most important topic, okay, in international business these days. So I want a little bit talk about the technology a little bit more, okay, a little bit more with you. Okay, so this time the presentation topic will be your technology things. So you research, okay, what technology is important, okay? The important technologies and how this technology can be used, what is the future of this technology, something like that, okay? So I have 6 topics already. I have 6 topics already. So you will choose, your team will choose one topic. Okay? The team will choose one topic and share what you studied with your classmates. Okay? All right, cryptocurrency, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, automation, 3D printing, biotechnology, drug development. All right, in the team discussion meeting, okay, team discussions, you choose one of these topic, okay, then you present this topic on Thursday. Okay, and any questions about exam and presentation one? Yeah, one group choose one. Yes. Why, Jensen? You want to choose 2?
No, I mean, like, I don't know why I'm typing. I meant, like, if, like, say I chose, my group chose, like, I don't know, Internet of Things, and then another group chose Internet of Things. Are we allowed to, like, repeat?
All right, I understand what you're saying. Okay. I don't want to redundant presentations. So, yes, one group can choose one. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. We have only 3 groups, so 3 teams. So you can discuss with your team what topics you will choose. Then, if there's a redundant, and then we can just adjust it. Okay. Any other questions about exam and presentation one? All right, so can I move on? Okay, this is the distribution of your warm keys. Okay, the last time, chapter 1. Average is 8 out of 9. It's great, great. Please keep this trend. It's great. If you keep this, your grade will be impacted very, very positively. All right, standard deviation is 1.1, so it's good. It's good, and we have many students who have perfect scores 9. It's good. It's good to see. I'm pretty happy with this. I don't have any problem with this. So let's start with the warm keys. Okay, chapter 2 warm keys. Now it's time to go back, go to the canvas and take your keys. Okay? Take your keys. There is a chapter 2 warm keys. I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Now 12:40. So it will be 12:50. All right, it's good. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, looks okay. Looks good. All right, it seems that most people are ready to discuss. Okay, so let's talk about natural differences. All right, in this topic, I already said you read the chapter. It's very simple topics. Okay, politics, economics, legal system. Three, in terms of these dimensions, differences between countries. Okay, so it's a very very general sense. We already knew many topics of this. Okay, but the big big emphasis in this topic is that we should know we should know countries are different. Not many people seriously take care of it, but as a manager, as a business leader, okay, you should understand each country has its own systems. Okay, no countries are same, right? So every countries are different. Okay? So okay? You realize this, then you have a better, better business practice for efficiency and effectiveness. Okay, so that's why we care of this topic. Okay, number one, when collectivism, okay, this is political system. When collectivism is emphasized on individuals' right to do something may restricted on the grounds that it runs counter to the good of society. True or false? All right, it's true. So this is political system. So collectivism versus individualism. Anyone can start with that. What is the collectivism? What is the individualism? Anyone just talk about that in your plain language.
Collectivism is more for the common good, like what you do for the good of the people, and then individualism is more focused on the person and what I want instead of what people want.
That's right. That's right. So collectivism, a group of people, and individualism, an individuals. Okay. So focus on this. Is it there any purely extreme the collectivism or individualism country these days? Did you see it?
China.
China is what collectivism.
Yes.
Okay. How about individual components? Individualism components in China. They have their own properties. They have their own freedom to have family and to have jobs, something like that.
Yeah, that's true. They're not as strict as the original Soviet Union was.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, some communism countries have a planned economy, but some part of individualism components imported. Okay. So, in the it is very hard to purely individualistic country. How about USA, our country, America? Is it individualism or collectivism?
Individualism.
Yeah, based on individualism. But some important decisions are made by,
Representatives for the common good, sort of.
that's right.
You
So
can
it's
argue that laws are that way.
right. It's a some components of the collectivism, right? So gathering all the opinions from the people and make some, important decisions. Then if decision is made, some people should give up their own, opinions. So in my perspective, it is hard to find purely individualism, purely socialism, purely collectivism countries these days. They are getting converged. Right? They are still far away from each other, but they are converging to a point. I don't know what point it is, okay? But they are converging, balancing between these. All right? You agree with that? Right. North Korea, I don't have exact information about North Korea, but North Korea they have some individualistic components in the society too. They have some freedoms, but it's an extreme case. All right. So I just want to share this. Differences, yeah, different, but they are moving, in some way. Okay. So I just want to, share my perspective with this. All right. Number two. Okay, this is economic system. So the political system, collectivism, individualism. The economic system, the communists believed that socialism could be achieved by democratic means and turned their backs on violent revolution and dictatorship. True or false? False. But I want to argue. Please, Jensen, go ahead.
I got this one wrong because I understood it as communists are the ones that see it, because it talked about in the book two separate ones that talked about the communists were more for the forced to do this, and that the socialists or the democratic communists wanted to do the democratic means. So when I saw this, I'm like, oh, the communists are the one that wanted force.
But these days they are changing, right? That's what the textbook said, isn't it?
Yes, but it separated the two. The textbook separated communists and democratic communists.
All right. So probably these communists include the democratic. It's a broader term. So I read like that. Okay. So in terms of the textbook, it makes sense. But I just say, in terms of economic system, okay? So we are going to compare communism, socialism, or democratics, okay? We should compare communism or socialism and capitalism, right? This is a better terminology to compare. Okay? Socialism and capitalism, or communism, capitalism. How do you think about that?
Okay, I see that. Well, then that's sort of the thing I'm arguing, that socialist is more the democratic way, sort of, and then communist is more the forceful way. So wouldn't it be more socialism? So they should say the socialists instead of the communists?
Socialism is different from the original communism, but people interchangeably use. That's why I just point out that socialism is not, opposite terminology of democratics, because all the socialism countries, all the communism countries, actually they say they represent democratic societies. But socialism can be compared with capitalism because think about that. Communism or socialism. Okay? The main difference is they have the production means are in the possession of society. That is socialism. Okay? And capitalism is the production of means is possessed by capital owner. This is capitalism. So basically, the basic distinction between these two systems is where the ownership of production means are. So we can just compare communism or capitalism, something like that. The democratic is like something like the more political terms, like economic terms. So that's my suggestion. All right. So this number 2 is communists believe that it's true. So any false? How do you think of that? Any false? It makes sense? The argument?
Sorry, what are you asking? I'm sorry.
All right, there is some points to debate in number 2. Jensen, you point out that, right?
Yes.
So in the textbook, based on the textbook answer, is true.
Yes,
But
that's what I'm arguing.
yeah, in some sense, that is, we can say false. Okay? But how do you think about that? I just want to, other people, how do you think about this?
I agree that I put false too, because when I read it, usually communist countries are like dictatorship in a way, the way that they like run their the country, as opposed to like in democratic, it's more people can do what they want and it's not so much structured by the government. So I put false as well.
All right, so this is a general sense, but I just want to emphasize that the textbook also point out that, communism countries is changing too, right? Changing too. So it's not fixed with the 1950, 1960s communism countries, the images, okay? So in this question, I'm going to go to both, okay? True and false, okay? Both. So, but the textbook answer is true, right? Communism country is changing in this way.
So, Dr. Kang, if you were to ask that same question on a test, we could get it right in 2 ways by either putting true or false or just true.
Yes. In the test, please fix with stay with the textbook answer.
Okay.
All right. So I just want to expand your perspectives, the way you think. Okay. But textbook answer. We need any root. Okay. So make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Number 3. In an individual society, the welfare of society is best served by letting people pursue their own economic self-interest. True or false?
True.
Yeah, this is true. This is the individual society. So the keyword is their own economic self-interest. Okay? So this is a big difference. Number 4. Most modern democratic states practice representative democracy. True or false?
True. They attempt to, at least.
Yeah, they try to. All right. So we don't have any final, ideal democratic society yet, but at least they're trying. Number 5, in a market economy, if demand for a product exceeds supply, okay, this is economic system. Demand for a product exceeds supply. Price will rise, signaling to producers to produce more. True or false?
True.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So this is how the market economy is working. It's simple. Number 6. So far so good, right? Number 6. In a command economy, enterprises have little incentive to control cost and be efficient because they cannot go out of business. True or false?
True.
Yeah,
True.
that's true. That's true. That's why actually we saw. That's why we saw many communism countries collapse in terms of their economy. Okay. And number 7. So number 6. There is no efficiency, effectiveness, right? We cannot see it. Okay, in the command economy. That was a problem. Okay. Number 7. When law courts interpret common law, legal systems. In the legal systems, we compare between what?
What, like civil and criminal?
Yes, common law and civil laws. All right, common law, civil laws, not crime. Common law, civil law. Common law is based on the precedents. Right, what we did, then search up what we did and make a juridical decision. And common law is defined by book, right? So USA is based on the common law system because we have a book, coded constitutions, and some other laws. So if we have something happens, we just find the book, the code, then make decisions. Okay? So this is common law, or civil law, I'm sorry. Okay? So when law courts interpret common law, they do so with regard to tradition, precedent, and custom. True or false?
True.
Yes, this is true. So this is, for example, the UK, right? Common law. Common law is UK, and USA is civil law. Okay, so common law is about the tradition, precedent, and custom, and the civil law is based on the coded a book. Okay, this is a big difference. All right, number 8, contracts under a civil law system tend to be very detailed with all contingencies spelled out. True or false?
False. They don't need to be.
False. Yes, that's true. False. Okay, because it's not possible to be like this. Okay, so but there are some the basic components of contracts in the civil law. So based on this, then people think about the case again. Okay. All right. Number 9, to facilitate international business, property rights should be defined in a consistent way across countries. True or false?
True.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay. And property right should be defined in a constant way across countries.
Do you think it's possible to accomplish that?
Say it again, please. Joking?
Do you think it will be possible to accomplish that, given how different some countries are?
Yeah, why not? Okay, good point. Please, give me a little bit more of your ideas.
And maybe, I don't know, I feel like it would be harder to, I don't know, in my case, it would be harder to define property rights. Like back home, we have different ideas of property, how to divide territories and all that. So I don't know. I feel like this different according to the economy in each country, because maybe socialists like argue that property belongs to the government. And
Oh, sure. So the point of this question is to facilitate international business. So is every country, each country has its own economic and some situations. Okay, then based on that situation, there is an optimal way to have property rights system. But for international business, standardization is very important. So if somebody knows, oh, this is the way how to gain property rights, but probably if this way, same way is applied in other countries, that will be helpful to facilitate international business. That is the point of this question. So, Joaquin, you're absolutely right. Okay, each country has its own ideal way to define property rights. But for international business, if many countries have the same way to define property rights, okay, then it will facilitate international business. That's the point of this question.
okay, thank you.
All right. And would you count copyright laws on the property rights? Yes, I think so.
The only reason I asked that is because I know we have problems with China, or I think it is China, because they have a very loose copyright laws to where you can repeat technologies.
Actually, the law itself in China is very strong, but their practice is not so strong.
I see.
So, laws, that is the problem of common law system. All right, the book. Everyone can have a same book. Everyone has same coded, laws. But the practice to enforce is totally different. Yeah? So, China has a very strong property rights law itself, but the practice is different. So we want to talk about a little bit more. Okay. All right. Any question? Comment? All right. Good discussions. And actually, good discussions. So we just share our perspectives. Okay. Great. And let's move to the textbook. All right. So, as said, as I already talked about that, this is a very, very simple topic. Okay. So we're going to talk about difference between countries in terms of political, economic, legal system. That's it. Okay? We talked about collectivism, individualism, socialism, and capitalism, and common law, civil law. Okay? That's it. Okay. So the topics are very simple and easy to understand. You already knew that. But the main point is that we should know countries are different. We cannot assume we live in the same country. So outside the USA, you should know that. You should keep in mind then you are in different countries. This country is different. So you should know it. Then you have better practice, better strategy and practice to do the business. Okay. So, all right. And we're going to talk about country differences. Okay. So, class activity. So, let's talk about Vietnam. Right? It's a very interesting country. It's a big country, actually. Then, it has a very, very interesting history in modern days. So, they are growing. So what happened in Vietnam? Let's talk about that. So go to your team discussion, breakout rooms, and you are gonna have 10 minutes and talk about Vietnam. Okay? Then we are gonna sum up, then we move. So 10 minutes. Everyone's ready? Please go to your own room and discuss.
You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently the only person in this conference. You are currently You are currently the only person in this conference.
Dr. Kong.
Yes.
So I just realized that I read chapter 2,
Mm-hmm.
the case study for chapter 3, because I was reading chapter 3 in another class as well. And so I ought to just thought chapter 3 to do the case study. So
Okay.
I accidentally did the wrong one.
All right. So this time you can ask help from your teammates for the discussions, and let's move on. Okay. Don't
Do
worry
you
about
want me to, what do you want me to do about, do you want me to do this one?
So did you submit the long chapter, right?
Yeah, I submitted chapter 3 for chapter 2.
Yeah, please submit the chapter 2 again, because we are going to talk about chapter 3 too. So yeah, please
Okay.
submit. I will accept it. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
All right, no problem.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
Okay, so you are coming back. So now you're coming back. So I just want to make sure every team understands topic. So are you ready? Okay, Joking, what team is it? All right, cryptocurrency. Team one a cryptocurrency. Okay, it's gone. Artificial intelligence. Any team on it? All right, artificial intelligence, group three, I'm sorry about that. And Internet of Things. Right, Internet of Things. Okay, no. Automation. Group two will take 3D printing. Okay, great. So we have three groups and 1, 2, 3, done. Okay, great. So you will present each topic. Okay. And all right, Vietnam. All right, let's talk about the Vietnam. Why did the Vietnam experience a low economic growth rate in the decade after the end of the Vietnam War in 1976? Why? All right, so why? Tell me.
There was embargo placed on them from the United States.
Mm-hmm. It's after war, right? It's after war. So not hard. So everything was destroyed. All right, now Vietnam now has an economy that is growing strongly with unemployment and rising living standard. What changes in the economic policy have been responsible for this economic transformation? This is a very interesting question. Why? What changes? What happened? How did you discuss? Number two.
So, which question is it?
Number two, the second question.
Oh, so they were introduced to the World Trade Organization in 2007, which allowed them to take more like liberal economic policies, which helped the country grow.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anybody else? Joking, you could point.
Also, I feel like since the whole communism versus capitalism thing is kind of over, like they wanted the big countries could do, wanted to do trade with them instead of like probably right after the war, they were like, no, you're communist.
It's a totally transit into the capitalism.
Sir?
Is it Vietnam? Is it totally transit into a capitalism country?
I don't think so. I don't think they have totally transformed to full
I don't
capitalism.
think either. Okay, Vietnam is a still socialism country, right? They just imported some components of capitalism things. Okay, all right. China too. Basically, they are still socialism countries, right? Communism countries, but they just imported some components, not totally transit. Okay, not total transitions. All right. Anything else? So this transition, some liberal economy, right? Some market-based economy, it improves efficiency and effectiveness, right, of the country production. Then they have, better economic performance. Okay. Anything else? What is that else? What the any other point you want to make with this? Second question. All right, then the level of public corruption in Vietnam is high, Why is the case? How do you think this affects Vietnam's economic performance? Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, corruptions. Why is it high?
Didn't they try and like privatize some of the industries, but the people that were in charge of these quote privatized industries were also a part of the government, and so people in the family were just running it, and so it was still corrupt, even though it was trying to be more of a market economy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Family-oriented, family-oriented governance of the country. So it was a big, big problem. It was a big, big problem. So how do you think this affects Vietnam's economic performance? Yes, absolutely. So my perspective is very simple. Efficiency, effectiveness. If something hurts this efficiency, effectiveness, performance is not good. And family-oriented governance system, it doesn't guarantee efficiency and effectiveness. That's a problem. It's a problem. Okay, number 4. This is good. How do you think a shift toward a more democratic institutions will affect economic progress in Vietnam? How do you think about that? So basically, this question is asking about economic progress comes with democratic institutions.
So what I think with allowing the people who are living there to have more autonomy in what they want to do when it comes to innovating and things like that, it would allow the economy to grow a lot quicker, because once you allow the people who are living there to do what they want to do, then they'll be more free to bring change towards the economy.
Oh, exactly. Good point. Good point. So this is the point we share actually, okay? In our perspective. So democratic institutions actually increase the number of opportunities for innovations. Okay. Basically, efficiency, effectiveness. Then this will impact economic progress. So Vietnam has the same chances to pursue this, but there are so many factors. There are so many factors that determine the future path of the country. Okay, so I am not sure how Vietnam will be transited. Okay, but they are trying to transit. Okay, so let's see, but we still, need to see what happens. Okay. All right. So any question, comments from your team discussions you want to add up? All right, then let's move. So we already talked about a lot of things. Political economy, we talked about that. Political, economic, legal systems. We already talked about this. Political system, collectivism, individualism. Democratic or totalitarian. That's it. Collectivism, we understand that, right? And it is interesting, Plato. Plato. I have something to talk about Plato, but not this time. Okay. Actually, Plato aims that the world, either world that is governed by a wise philosopher. Okay. So that's why Plato is one of the great philosophers that pursues collectivism. Okay. But there are a lot of things to talk about. All right, communism and social democracy. We talked about that. Communism, violent revolution, and totalitarian dictatorship. Okay, it's characterized by this. And social democracy, socialism is achieved through democratic means. Okay, some part is true. Okay, some part is true. So let's move on. Totalitarianism. There are 4 types of totalitarianism. I'm not going to replicate this. Okay? You just read and you can understand very easily. Individualism. Individuals should have freedom in his own economic and political pursuit. And this economic political pursuit determine social system. All right, it's Aristotle. Okay. All right, then democracy. Democracy is a political system in which government is by the people, exercised either directly or through elected representatives. All the countries represent, they are democratic countries. Okay? But usually, democratic country is associated with individualism. Pure democracy is based on the belief that citizens should be directly involved in decision making and some other characteristics. And political ideology and economic systems. It's intermingled. These days, it's very hard to distinguish. This is politics. This is economy. All right. So many things are interconnected. Okay. So individual countries, probably market-based economies. So think about that. Individual. I want to have my own property. So that is market-based system. Okay? That's why many countries are intermingled in political and economic systems. All right? Then market economy, command economy, mixed economy. In my perspective, all the economies are sort of mixed economies these days. It is very hard to purely market economies, purely command economies these days. Some components of market economies, command economies are imported each other. Okay? So in our research, we see a lot of mixed economic system these days. And legal system, we talked about that. Common law and civil law. Common law based on tradition, precedent, custom. UK. Civil law based on detail and several laws organized into codes. Okay? This is our system. Okay? The American system. Contracts. Under a civil law system, contracts tend to be much stronger, shorter, and less specific because many issues are already covered in the civil code. So we have a book. Okay? This book already has some codes. So based on these codes, actually, the contract can be defined, based on this. So very simple, shorter, and less specific. And juries contract anticipation. All right, I'm not gonna look at this. Okay, property rights. The legal rights of the use to which a resource is put and of the use made of any income that may be derived from that resource. We talked about that, right? Property rights. Okay. Each country can have its either way to define property rights, but for international business, probably standardization of property rights, these things, and can be helpful. Okay. All right. Intellectual property. Yes, intellectual property is very, very important things. We are going to talk about intellectual property a little bit more with your presentations, okay? Because you are going to talk about technology, then intellectual property right will be very important. So we will talk about a little bit more intellectual property. So intellectual property is property that is product of intellectual activity, all right? So it can be protected using patents, copyrights, and trademarks, okay? Patents, exclusive rights for defined period to the manufacturer use the sale of that invention. Copyrights is authors, composers, paper, playwrights, something like that. And trademark, just mark. Okay. And protection of intellectual property rights differs from country to country. We talked about China. They have a strong law, but the practice is different. Okay. Firms can do some things to avoid piracy. Institutional environments, it's not easy to protect your intellectual property in the foreign countries. You should know this, okay? So we're going to talk about a little more, okay? The market's overall attractiveness. So overall attractiveness is defined by, we talked about that, okay? Political system, economic system and legal system and some other things. Okay? So market attractiveness is the depend on the balancing the benefit and cost and risk associated with doing business in country. That's why we talk about national differences. All countries are different. Okay? So we need to know which country is better for our business. To determine this, we need to understand this country's differences, and based on differences, we need to have our own strategy, right? Then we can make actually the overall attractiveness too, right? So overall attractiveness is defined by the current situation. Also, we can make it. We can increase, we can decrease. Okay? It depends on how you see your business in an international business setting. Okay? All right, that's pretty much about chapter 2. All right, it's 9:10 or 1:40. Okay, it's on time. All right, so we talked about chapter 2. All right, next time we're gonna talk about chapter 3. Okay, so then next week we're gonna do the exam and presentations. Okay, I just tried to a little bit speed up this time. How was it? It's too fast?
No, let's go good.
It's okay?
Really good. Mhm.
Everything's all right? All right, great. Then, any question, comments on chapter 2? All right, then. I will see you on Thursday with chapter 3. Good job, good discussions. All right?
All right, have a good day.
Yeah, you made a good
Have a
class.
good day. Bye-bye.
You made a great class. Thank you so much.